the locked box. The rain hammered against the windshield as Marcus pulled into the hospital parking lot for what felt like the 1,000th time that year. His daughter Lily sat in the back seat, her small frame swallowed by the oversized hoodie she insisted on wearing everywhere, the one her mother had bought her 2 years ago, back when everything was different, back when Sarah was still alive. Marcus caught his daughter's reflection in the rearview mirror. At just 9 years old, Lily had already learned what it meant to lose everything. The leukemia had come first, stealing her energy, her hair, her childhood. Then came the accident that took Sarah, leaving Marcus to navigate the nightmare alone. Some mornings, he wasn't sure which loss cut deeper, watching his wife's casket lowered into the ground, or watching his daughter's spirit dim a little more each day. "Ready, sweetheart?" Marcus asked, forcing brightness into his voice that he didn't feel. Lily nodded, clutching a small wooden box to her chest. She'd been carrying it everywhere for the past week, ever since they'd finally gone through the last of Sarah's belongings. The box was beautiful in its simplicity, dark, mahogany with intricate carvings along its edges, about the size of a hardcover book. But it was also locked, and despite searching through every drawer, every pocket, every possible hiding place in their small apartment, Marcus couldn't find the key. They made their way through the hospital corridors, past the too familiar nurses' station, past the playroom where Lily used to have enough energy to actually play, into the oncology ward that had become their second home. Dr. Patel greeted them with her usual warm smile, though Marcus could see the concern in her eyes. Lily's latest blood work hadn't been good. The treatment wasn't working as well as they'd hoped. As Dr. Patel examined Lily, Marcus stood by the window, watching the rain streak down the glass. The medical bills were piling up faster than he could count. His construction job barely covered rent, let alone the mounting costs of treatment. Insurance helped, but it didn't cover everything. Nothing covered everything. He'd sold Sarah's car, borrowed from friends, started a GoFundMe that had raised enough to buy them maybe another month or two of time. Time. That's all any of this was about. Buying time and praying for a miracle. "Mr. Reeves?" Dr. Patel's voice pulled him from his thoughts. "Could I speak with you outside?" Marcus's stomach dropped. Those words never meant anything good. He squeezed Lily's hand, promised he'd be right back, and followed the doctor into the hallway. "We need to talk about next steps," Dr. Patel began, her voice gentle but firm. "The current treatment protocol isn't giving us the results we need. There's a clinical trial at Boston Children's Hospital, new immunotherapy that's showing remarkable promise for cases like Lily's, but it's expensive," Marcus finished. He'd heard this story before in a dozen different variations. The trial itself is funded, but there are costs, travel, accommodation for the duration of treatment, which could be several months. You'd need to relocate temporarily. Dr. Patel paused. "I know your situation, Marcus. I've been trying to work with the hospital's financial aid office, but I wanted you to know this option exists. I believe it could save her life." Marcus leaned against the wall, feeling the weight of impossible choices pressing down on him. How could he afford to relocate to Boston? He'd lose his job, their apartment. They'd be living in a strange city with no support system, burning through whatever savings they didn't have. But how could he not try everything to save his daughter? "How much time do I have to decide?" he asked quietly. "They need to know within 2 weeks. I'm sorry, Marcus. I wish I had better news." When Marcus returned to the room, Lily was sitting on the examination table, still clutching that mysterious box. Her wide eyes studied his face, reading the worry he couldn't quite hide. "Daddy, can you open this?" she asked suddenly, holding out the box. "Mom left it for me, and I really need to know what's inside." It wasn't the first time she'd asked, but something in her voice made Marcus stop. He took the box, examining it closely for the 100th time. The lock was small but sturdy, clearly meant to keep whatever was inside safe. He'd tried everything, hairpins, paper clips, even considered breaking it open, but he couldn't bring himself to destroy something Sarah had so carefully preserved. "I don't know how, baby. I wish I did. There has to be a way. Lily insisted, her voice cracking. "She left it for me. She must have left a way to open it." That night, after settling Lily into bed, Marcus sat at their tiny kitchen table, surrounded by photographs and letters, all the pieces of Sarah's life they'd boxed up after her death. He'd been through everything before, but this time he searched with new purpose, looking for any clue, any hint about the mysterious box. At nearly midnight he found it, tucked inside Sarah's favorite cookbook, the one she'd inherited from her grandmother, was an envelope addressed simply, "For Marcus when the time comes." His hands shook as he opened it. Inside was a small key and a letter in Sarah's handwriting. "My dearest Marcus," it began. "If you're reading this, I'm gone, and I'm so sorry I couldn't stay. I'm sorry I'm leaving you to face this battle with our sweet girl alone. But I need you to know something. You are not alone. You've never been alone." Marcus's vision blurred with tears as he continued reading. Sarah described how, during her own battle with the illness that eventually took her, a battle she'd hidden from him for months to avoid worrying him while Lily was already sick, she'd met a woman in her support group named Catherine Walsh. Catherine was a widow, childless and dying of the same disease. The two women had become close, bonded by their parallel struggles and their determination to protect the people they loved. Catherine had no one to leave her estate to. Sarah's letter continued. "We talked for hours about legacy, about what we leave behind. I told her about you, about Lily, about the battle we were fighting. In her final weeks, Catherine did something extraordinary. She set up a trust fund for Lily's medical care. She wanted to help, wanted her death to mean something. The details are in the box, along with the account information and legal documents." Marcus stared at the letter, unable to process what he was reading. A stranger, someone he'd never met, had left money to help save his daughter's life. It seemed impossible, too good to be true. "The trust is substantial, Marcus, enough to cover Lily's treatment, whatever she needs." Catherine only had one request, that when Lily is well, when she's grown, that she pay this kindness forward in whatever way feels right to her, that she remember that even in our darkest moments, there are people who care, people who help, people who believe in the power of human kindness. With trembling hands, Marcus took the key to Lily's room. She was awake, staring at the ceiling, the box beside her on the bed. "Daddy, did you find something?" "I did, sweetheart. I found the key." He sat beside her, explaining gently about her mother's friend, about the gift that had been waiting for them all this time. Together they opened the box. Inside were legal documents, bank account information, and another letter, this one addressed to Lily, from Catherine Walsh. But there was something else too, a silver locket on a delicate chain, and a photograph of two women smiling at the camera, their arms around each other. Marcus recognized Sarah immediately. The other woman, thin and pale but with kind eyes, must have been Catherine. Lily opened the locket. Inside were two tiny photographs, one of Sarah, one of Marcus. "She knew about me," Lily whispered. "Your mom told her all about you, about how brave you are, how strong." Lily read Catherine's letter slowly, her lips moving silently over the words. When she finished, tears streamed down her cheeks. "She wanted to help me even though we never met. Some people are like that, baby. They see someone in pain, and they just want to help, even if it costs them everything." The next morning, Marcus called Dr. Patel with the news. Within a week, they were approved for the clinical trial in Boston. Within 2 weeks, they'd found temporary housing near the hospital. The trust Catherine had left was enough to cover everything: treatment, housing, living expenses, and then some. The treatment was hard, harder than anything Lily had endured before. There were days when Marcus wasn't sure she'd make it. Days when he'd sit by her hospital bed and pray to Sarah, to Catherine, to anyone who might be listening. But slowly, impossibly, Lily began to improve. The new immunotherapy was working. Her blood count stabilized, then improved. Her energy returned. After 3 months, her scans showed no evidence of disease. Dr. Patel cried when she gave them the news. "She's in remission, Marcus. Complete remission." Marcus couldn't speak. He just held his daughter and sobbed, for joy, for relief. for gratitude to a woman he'd never met who had saved his child's life. 5 years later, Lily was 14 and healthy, her cancer just a painful memory. She wore Catherine's locket every day and kept her photograph on her bedside table. She'd started a blog about her experience, raising awareness and funds for pediatric cancer research. She volunteered at the hospital, reading to younger patients, offering them the kind of hope she'd once needed so desperately. "I'm going to be a doctor," she announced one evening over dinner. "I want to help kids like me. I want to be like Dr. Patel, like Catherine, like Mom." Marcus smiled, seeing Sarah in every feature of their daughter's face. "Your mom would be so proud of you. Catherine would be too." "Do you think she knew?" Lily asked. "Catherine, I mean. Do you think she knew she was saving my life?" "I think she hoped. I think she believed that her loss could become someone else's gain. That's the most powerful kind of love. There is the kind that gives everything and asks for nothing in return." That night, Marcus took out Sarah's letter and read it again, as he'd done countless times over the years. But now he noticed something he'd missed before, a postscript in tiny handwriting at the very bottom. "Tell Lily that kindness is never wasted, Marcus. Tell her that every act of love ripples out into the world, touching lives we'll never know about. Catherine saved our daughter, but Lily will save others. This is how we live on, through the good we do, the lives we touch, the love we give away." Marcus thought about the chain of kindness that had saved his daughter's life. From Catherine to Sarah to Lily to all the people Lily would help in the years to come. He thought about how one woman's generosity had transformed their tragedy into hope, their despair into purpose. He went to Lily's room, where she was doing homework, Catherine's locket glinting in the lamplight. "Hey, sweetheart, I was thinking, maybe this summer we could visit Catherine's grave. Bring her flowers, tell her about your plans to become a doctor." Lily looked up, her eyes, so much like Sarah's, shining. "I'd like that, Dad. I'd like that a lot. I want to thank her for everything. She knows, baby. Wherever she is, she knows." Outside, the evening sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink, and Marcus thought about locked boxes and hidden keys, about the gifts people leave behind, and the lives that are saved by simple acts of kindness from strangers who become angels. He thought about how love transcends death, how generosity creates legacies, how sometimes the most profound questions, "Can you open this?" lead to the most beautiful answers. And he whispered a thank you to 2 women who had taught him that even in our darkest moments, humanity shines brightest, that the human heart has infinite capacity for compassion, and that sometimes the greatest gift we can give is hope to someone we'll never meet.